The military said. You don't have to destroy a whole bunch of zombies. Just hold them for a while. Just give it a chance for our investigation team. Once we destroy the king, it's underground. Zombie groups will lose command and be easier to deal with. The angels sighed 100,000 heads of zombies. Maybe even more. Even without a leader, it is difficult to solve. Even if it's 100,000 pigs, we can't catch them all in 3 days. The army said. Let's look a little further. Large quantity is also good. This is a 1,000-year opportunity. We can destroy them all. It will be easier to work a little harder now. The movement in the heart is more positive. According to the character of the military, maybe he's just letting people be bait. Little zombie talk. But inside the zombies, it could be 200,000, 300,000. And even more. Frowning and hugging hands said, I'm afraid we can't hold it for long. And then we're surrounded by zombies, and we lose our lives here. Everyone is smart. I know that the words of the Wu army are about 100,000 zombies, not reliable. In fact, the real number can only be more. Before that, their team had an underground facility to make a way back. But now in the snow, they have no choice. They have to protect the normal ones. Of course, they're not very interested in protecting these people. But if you let zombies get through their lines, the situation of the 5 great powers, there will be serious problems, and maybe everyone's going to die here. So whether they want to or not, they all have to mobilize their full force to fend off a zombie attack. The armed forces continued. If you find the defense too arduous, you can exchange tasks with others. He glanced at the red pepper. Or you can swap missions with us. Expression of red pepper. It immediately becomes uncomfortable. Zombie defense mission, though arduous. But compared to the task of the investigative team, it's much easier. Intrusion underground, faced with so many enemies, and a large number of zombies. Except for the investigation team, there's no other power in the Tianhai city. The ability and strength to take on. I can only say that I understood. Until now, we only have one option to fight. Captain Squad, I will put all my hope in you. Red Pepper practiced thinking silently. A total of 7 investigators. I want to go underground and fight the Zombie King. I'm not stupid. How can I change with you? When people have no more opinions, the border force speaks loudly. Everyone prepare yourself for battle. If they 7 defeat Tianhai City, it will become a dead city. It is likely that the South China Sea will decide to use it, to erase this city from the map. Such a tense atmosphere. It also affects the flu. He was relatively comfortable at first. He couldn't help but start to feel nervous. What would he do if he lost 7? Maybe there's only one way to use gravity. To bring with relatives, escape, then go back and find Yang and the others. To leave the Tianhai city together. Bring this worry, Zhang Yi, to the armed forces. Sir, I have a problem I don't understand. I don't know if I can ask you. Yeah, what do you want to ask? Trong asked. Currently, we have a clear understanding of the situation in Tianjin City. Just destroy the exam. The risk of zombies will end. So why don't you ask for Jiangnan Great Zone? Send troops to support. We don't want to compel them morally. Or any other reason. With the power of Jiangnan Great Region, sending a group of elite combat personnel. Come here to kill zombies. It's not that difficult. Don't have to. That we're going to have to deal with a lot of pressure like this. All cities in Jiangnan area. All under the management of Jiangnan Great Zone. Therefore, Jiangnam Great Zone. I certainly don't want to see a large number of people die in a city under their control. Human, it's an incredibly valuable resource in the end times. After listening to Zhang Yi's words, the army suddenly laughed. He turned his head and asked the opposite. You think the problem is in the Mediterranean? Really serious do Sao? Zhangjing doesn't know how to answer. The police can only laugh back. Not serious. The military continues to speak. It's just your thoughts. He became serious. Listen, Zhang Yi. Even though the Tianhai city is huge, but when you look at the whole Jiangnam area, it's just a normal city. It's nothing special. In the whole area VI, every day new problems arise. Heterogeneous mutants. Not to mention the other bizarre events. In this era of variation, there are too many situations that humans can barely grasp. The region needs to solve a lot of problems, while investigative teams like ours, there's a limited amount. So unless the situation is completely out of control, you can't send a big army here to crack down. Border troops patted on the shoulder of the epidemic. The world is so big. It's much more than the Mediterranean city. If one day you go out into the world, you'll find this place really peaceful. In the Central Highlands inland areas, River Lake Mountain Forest, that's where the devil is. Zhang Yi's eyes sparkled with curiosity, but he's also a little hesitant, thinking about leaving the city of Tianhai. He sighed. He didn't have to go far. I like to stay at home in Tianhai city already very well. The officer said nothing more, just smiled slightly. If one day you change your mind, you can contact. He was going to contact me, but the words to my mouth stopped. With his health condition, how long he's alive is a question. After solving the problem with the zombie group, we'll talk later. I wish I was alive at the time. Time goes by one day at a time. Around Snow White, there were no zombies. The ground is completely quiet. It even feels like a zombie has disappeared from the city of Tianhai. Finally, on Thursday night, the zombies finally arrived. The earliest discoverer was a military guard post. Only they own the satellite system, capable of real-time tracking everything that happens in Tianhai city. So when Thursday night came around the snows, from the entrance of the subway sheet, suddenly came out zombies. The military immediately warned everyone. Zombies attack battle begins. They're coming from 3 entrances to the subway. Crowded and dense as ants from the nest. Series of ants that raw. Just for a short time, the whole land was covered in zombies. And from deep inside the subway, zombies keep pouring out. Just a few minutes later, around the snow appeared about 80,000 heads of zombies. Among them, there's a lot of armor twice as high. 3 times more than regular zombies. People are psychologically ready. But when you actually see something like that, they can't help but swear. Procrastination of stitching. Bring Chu Kai Ni to the road price. Give it to me for free. Please protect her well. To speak firmly with the original no stomach. Before Zhang Yi left, I didn't tell Theo. Rest assured whether zombies break through the outer lines. Mutant guards at the door. They can also persist for a short time. After completing everything, they run back to their place. Outside the VI sermon, the firecrackers began to explode. To prepare for this battle, the great powers did not spare resources. 3 major bases have deployed artillery stocks. Rocket guns in the battlefield behind. Promote the use of gravity to move to a high position and then remotely assassinate zombies. At his feet were 10 bags of luggage. It contains thousands of bullets. From this high angle, he could clearly see the enormous pressure that each, the battlefield area to face. Sighs and raises the gun. How many zombies can we kill per shot? Right. He shot a shot, and a zombie a few thousand meters away is immediately blown up. My head exploded into a rain of blood. Zombies lose their heads. Has not completely lost the ability to act, but I can't figure out the direction. It's become a fly that loses its head and was quickly trampled by another zombie. Quickly change the gun's throat. Keep shooting without stopping. Don't. With the ability to shoot with precision, he can neutralize a zombie every 2 seconds. Make it incapable of fighting. Change the gun throat. Based on the situation on the battlefield, prioritize the nearest group of zombies. This feeling, it's like he's playing a tower defense game. However, the pressure from this battle can't be simplified. With a word game, he can kill hundreds of times more compared to normal soldiers. But it's hard. It can affect the whole war alone. A voice echoing through. Second line firewall start up. Immediately, the fire burned violently, burning goods. Zombie series. On this side of the battlefield, Xiao Hong practiced using his firepower, sprayed into the zombies. At the same time, she was in command of her army. Aim for the zombie leg. The sound of terrifying explosions from all fronts. The snowflake is engulfed in smoke and fire. The zombies are burning and screaming. Different from the people of other bases, the use of modern weapons is fully equipped. The people of the snow take the most primitive tool. Attack the zombies. Kill them all. The only difference is that they are not afraid of death. At any time, they can also sacrifice their lives for the snow spear, while everyone is fighting with a group of zombies on all fronts. Then, the giant armor is also slowly advancing, still standing behind the zombies. The amount of copper is not much. Then thousands of regular zombies. Only a few hundred. But each of them, they are not inferior to mutants. When you see them, red pepper training, feel numb scalp. You remember well. It was these monsters that tore the tiger's field apart. His subordinates. Red pepper practice uttered. A fellow soldier who can tear off a watch. Where does it come from so much? The Sand family said in amazement. There's so many armor. Why do we fight? He used to think that the number of his fellow soldiers was extremely small. But now there are a few hundred. Red pepper training with big straight eyebrows. How much we're afraid of anything, how much we're going to kill. There is no turning back now. We can only fight to the end. Those zombies and the amount of armor is beyond imagination. They can only keep fighting. Zombies are very smart. First, use large animals and regular zombies to consume the forces of humanity. Copper armor the equivalent to the elite force of zombies. It's kept behind, as they don't know in the high rise. Jianjing chose them. Be your hunting target. Expansion of heterospatial fluid Ra. He just put his hand inside and got his gun. Copper armor the. Maybe you can give me a little experiment. He changed to a heavy sniper rifle with pre-loaded custom ammunition. Swinging based on the balcony. Aim for a giant armor with a triangular head. His voice is confident. Large diameter armor piercing to coordinate with our sniper rifles and our abilities. Let's see if we can beat the Kier. Zhang's goal is his eyes. He aimed and spoke excitedly. Give me a little joy. The sound of anti-aircraft snipers echoing behind the battlefield. The special bullet. It's made from special mutant materials. The most powerful space system in Tianhai City, strongly pierced into the head of copper armor exam. With extremely large VA impact force, it sent his armor crashing to the ground. The defensive power of the copper head bone. It's amazing. The bullet couldn't go through his skull. However, when the high-energy bullet enters the skull, it's starting to burn through the brain of the hypothalamus. It is clearly different from ordinary zombies. They have their own consciousness. I've seen this guy with amazing vitality. Screaming in pain. Fly 10 zombies around before you die. The translation shows a clear smile at the corners of the mouth. Successful indeed. Based on information from salary review and end view, he also understood the possibility, the defense of the armor. Then, he's running experiments based on this information to improve the ability to sneak attacks. The shot was so strong, even a tank was pierced by him. Outer armor layer. Of course, his work has been rewarded. A bunch of zombies and other bodyguards saw this. Then start turning your head around. The epidemic knows that copper armor they pose the greatest threat to human forces. So he started to focus on assassination. The soldiers are hiding in the zombies. The young man said to himself, so let's move on. I thought I couldn't find SAO. Jianjing changed the gun throat, shot him in the eye. Don't. Under the thunderous fire of anti-aircraft snipers, the light of bullets cut across the night sky. Let every one of my friends fall down, without realizing the situation. It fell into the eyes of the great powers. Just a second ago, they were also afraid of the appearance of their armor. As a second later, they were stunned. He was killed by the Kier man. Red training and false assumptions high are surprised. I can't believe you can shoot. Kill your fellow soldiers like that. Who is? You did this. They're coming back in the direction of the bullets, and saw a picture of Zhang Yi holding a gun. Sniper on high-rise building. Red training and delusion high cannot hide the horror on the face. False C uttered. This is the real power of the Sao. Fortunately, we are now friends. They couldn't help but remember the war of the previous 5 armies, where Zhang Yi also single-handedly caused great trouble. They dare not show their faces. And this time, the power that Zhang Yi wielded, it seems stronger than before. Red Pepper can't help but whisper. The doctor is a scary man. The sea also feels. You should avoid conflict with him later. If not, maybe one day, we will also be defeated by him. On the celestial side, he's riding on the back of a tall ghost, with a face as strong as metal can't break. He shouted to kill. White light begins to radiate from the body. He's indomitable. LAN throughout the body to all the fighting men behind him. The right hand holds a large battlefield. More than my body. From the back of the village jumped up and crashed into the zombies. The Great War government cracked down, creating a storm. Cut 10 zombies in half. When the leader leads, others can't let themselves fall behind. They are also fighting zombies. And the giant werewolf jumped into the zombies. Spray extremely cold air, freezing a large area of zombies into ice statues. With its powerful swing, those ice statues crumbling to pieces. Of the 5 great powers, there's only a base of love with passionate heroes. Dare to fight this way with zombies. If we're talking about where there's the least pressure, not beyond prediction, that's the base of 1,000,000 weapons. Especially after the Battle of the 5. Their fighting strength has been halved. But on a snowy battlefield, Falls C, the Lord of Ice and Snow is too strong. Way, way high confidently said. Maybe we're not very good at fighting wars. As in the land of ice and snow, I am the king. Nguyen Din High covered with frost ice holding up to hands. In front of him, within VI several thousand meters, 10 meters of snow and ice below the ground, suddenly crumbling loudly. Thousands of zombies, not in time to react, immediately fell into the pit. The snow was buried under the thick snow. With the power of the Falls Sea, the destruction of the troopers, unbelievably simple. Even though these zombies can't be killed. But their purpose tonight is clear. Slowing down the enemy's attack. Give the investigation team the opportunity to take advantage of the time. Nguyen Din High controls the battlefield with 2 hands, exploding huge chunks of ice and snow. His style as a conductor. Make the whole land of ice and snow, according to his hand, to dance softly and magnificently. Zombie density is extremely dense. They fall into the swirling snow. And in a short time it's impossible to get out. This has greatly reduced the pressure on the coalition. While fighting a man of the snows, I'm also amazed at the appearance of these mutant mice. He quickly picked up the knife one by one. But he just killed this one. The other quickly came. The mutant mouse rushed too. He bit his shoulder with red eyes. The teacher of the snow spear shouted for a few hours. Then take all the vital force and kick the mouse away. The nurse saw this scene. A question arises again. The snowflake's defense is too simple. It's almost nothing. They don't have high walls. There is no iron grid, just based on the spears. They're not afraid of death and large numbers of mutants. How can they survive for a long time without being destroyed by the zombie army? It's hard to understand. The translator just changed the barrel. Destroy another armor in the zombie army. It's hard to understand with tens of thousands of zombies. The number is really too large. He kept killing 10 of his fellow soldiers. Copper armor thief. It's not claiming to be smarter than normal zombies, SAO. Why do we kill so many people? They are also unprepared. In too large a quantity, they can only carry out simple commands. Maybe their orders are, we have to kill everyone here. The forces continue to stop the attack of the zombie army, right from the front pouring out like ants. While his army and his group continue as last time, sneak behind the zombie army. They're watching from a distance. Use satellites to monitor the zombies. The number of zombies appear non-stop from the subway. It quickly reached 100,000, and it's even going to keep growing. Confucius said anxiously, "How many people are in that group?" "There are actually more than 1 million people." Confucius looked at the battlefield. The snow is in a cold sweat. They can fend off the zombie attack. Long time ago. The enemy with a cold face and arms spoke. "Don't worry, because their lives will surely fight to the end. As long as they give us some time. Solve the underground king. Even if they are destroyed, it doesn't matter." The enemy does not care about the lives of others. In Tianhai City, he is only interested in completing his mission. Prevent the expansion of zombies, and prevent them from expanding into surrounding areas. That's what's most important to them and the region. Jiang Nam. The army did not oppose the enemy, just standing there with sunglasses and a cold face. "Look ahead," he said. "Just don't let the zombies keep expanding. The few who live and die don't need to care." Not long later in railway tunnel, deep underground, I didn't see any zombies anymore. He looked away. "We're hordes of black zombies. I'm focusing on the snow." "Teacher, let us talk about it. It is time for us to act," he said to Vu. "You first use your investigative powers. Look at the situation. We're going down again." Vu uses his power. Hands on the snow. A ray of light shining from her hand. She slowly watched what was happening deep in the tunnel. Of course, there are still many kings in the tunnel. Copper armor exam and zombies. After a vigorous examination, she came to a conclusion. There are some very scary zombies down there, along with a few of his peers. The border coldly says this is a trap. After having lost once, know that we're going to adopt this strategy. So these damn creatures, they're also planning against us. The angry enemy said, "These damn animals know how to calculate." The armed forces also responded. The king's learning speed. It really makes people feel scary. It seems that their intelligence, not much different with humans. The school district asked, "So what should we do now?" If the number of zombies underground is too large, there are only 7 people in the group. They're going to be very dangerous. The key point is, if you can't kill the king, all my efforts tonight have been in vain. Soldiers say seriously, "Wait." Let them continue to fight back. Attract more zombies. This team is not in a hurry to act. But keep watching. The pressure is constantly on the coalition here. Even though remote assistance with sniper rifles. But the number of zombies is overwhelming. Preliminary estimate. More than 200,000 zombies have appeared on the battlefield. This doesn't even take into account the hated iguanas. The fighting situation becomes more intense. Look at the situation at the scene. Has moved the king from fat to support the weak points. The flower, as usual, stayed by the camp. In some way, Hoa Hoa is Chang's most reliable bodyguard. It has a strong melee combat capability, flexible movement, and defensive capabilities on par with tanks. With its presence, they don't worry about being attacked. It's also easier to escape. The movement does not merely mobilize the entire force and fight zombies. The most important thing, he must ensure the safety of his team. You don't stand in front, the image of Jesus suffering. Two clenched hands whispering prayers. The screams, and there's gunfire coming in from outside. Very clear. The shelves hiding in the sugar rack seem worried. Expression on their faces. However, don't worry, keep your face calm as usual. Everything outside doesn't seem to affect you. Zhu Kai Ni sits on a chair in the church. Next to you is a medicine box. Even if you don't believe in religion, she also silently prayed to the gods. She clasped her hands and whispered softly, "Oh God, if you really exist, please keep the campaign and others safe." Suddenly, a clear but cold voice, echoing through your head. There are only the most loyal followers. He received the blessing of the gods. Zhu Kai Ni raised her head, face to face with cold eyes, and the brightness of the original. You feel the power of the soul. From the eyes of the undead, it makes people want to sink in. "Hello, how are you?" The child smiled and greeted. "Take your eyes out." The stare of the original is not fake. Yudanti look deep and suddenly say, "Are you feeling sad and worried? For not being able to help my man?" The child is a little confused when your story is exposed. Maybe a little bit. I'm a doctor who can only work in the back. We can't fight with him on the battlefield. Surprisingly, the two eyes of Yuan are not extremely magical. The voice of the unknown, filled with mystery echoing through. You may also have the potential to become a mutant. This word makes my heart beat hard. Being a mutant, it's what you desperately want. Although this feeling is not clear, but since Yang Bai woke up to his powers, your desire for power is growing stronger. Before Kier, she is also an independent woman. With good family background and excellent education, you've built a little reputation in the field of medicine to become a doctor, chief at the top people's hospital in the city, only by the strength and resources of the family. But now the SAO. She felt her place next to the epidemic. It's becoming more and more blurry. It's a truth you don't want to accept. Even if your dog always treats you well. You know, he's not the one who puts feelings first. If one day, you are replaced by someone better, the distance between you and your dog, it will definitely get further and further away. You realize you need to think. The movement is always improving, and you are good. Zhu Kai Ni's confessions were originally not exposed. That made her eyes flash. However, due to Zhang's reminder about the previous snow, you have to be careful, snowman. You are very cold with your words. Not really. This is the first time we've heard that AI say that. She grinned politely, but he didn't seem too friendly to continue. Your potential is enormous. It's just a lack of opportunity to be a mutant. Believe in yourself. You have the potential to be a mutant. In the heart of the child began to stir. That's right. Everyone next to us can become a mutant. Why can't we? She also said that to become a mutant, conditions are very harsh. You have to use your life to experiment. If 7 fails, it's death, and you don't have that kind of courage. But the appearance of Amber, it opened up a new direction for you. You don't stare at the child. Her eyes were clear and cold as ice, carrying an ineffable charm. Just look into her eyes. People will feel overwhelmed by a powerful force. She doesn't want to obey her orders. We need power now. Your man also needs your help. I can help you become a mutant. Do you want to take this chance? My heart is beating faster. You know the woman in front of you. It's capable of helping others wake up to their powers. She turned into a mutant. I can't walk up to my hair, I can confirm. It's true to be a mutant. Remember Zhang's reminder. Certain, you should not believe any word of the unbeliever. Definitely not. The child's ability to wake up. She also knows that this person is mysterious. So it's not easy to trust. The child only hesitated for a few seconds. Then your heart calms down. Shu Kai Ni immediately dismissed the original hand without parting. Thank you. But we don't feel like we really need that. In your eyes, there is no hope. Maybe you can think more carefully. When you change your mind, find me. God's grace is a blessing. Not everyone has a chance to get it. After that, you don't want to turn away. She continued to pray in front of the statue. 20 minutes later, the noise from fighting outside was getting louder and louder. The moans of the court and the rats. It also makes a horrible sound, even though your hands are still echoing in your head. But the only thing they can do now is just pray for the armed forces, struggling in the front, to win. In the suburbs of the snow, the battlefield has entered a violent phase. There is no room for imagination. There is only one method of attack. It's using numbers to overwhelm. More than 200 no zombies form an army. Encircled the entire area of the snowball. From all directions began the onslaught. But the human side relies on all means to defend. Fire trap ability combat with bare hands. All methods are used. They know they can't retreat. The battle has become weak. They're surrounded with no way out. There's only one way to fight to the death. Extend the time. Let the border troops and their team complete the action. Except for the house. On the battlefield, blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Zombies are cut up. But even if there's only half a body left, still trying to move forward. Human soldiers with good weapons, they can kill hundreds of zombies. But if they're careless, they'll be surrounded by zombies. Even zombies can't bite through protective clothing. But in large numbers, they can crush people. Not to mention the animals that can destroy. The defense is getting smaller and smaller. The death rate has risen to 30%. Pink pepper bite teeth communicate with the armed forces via radio. We're not going to be able to take it anymore. How are you over there? Cold arms border. Like the ice says, we're going to find the king. Be patient a little more. We'll have results soon. Zhang Yi, from the high floor of a building, muttered. Finally bring all the armor to destroy. Other things. Not finished yet. The young man immediately fired a gun. They killed almost all of their armor. His strong offensive ability on the battlefield. It makes people more afraid. Can speak alone. He's eased at least a third of the pressure on the coalition. If not, the Kier armor when participating in the battle will quickly collapse the human defenses. In just 20 minutes, the coalition was fighting back. Every time they retreat, they prepare many traps. Burying of combustion materials and explosives. Kill a large number of zombies. See the salary. The view and from spring lightning are using the power. Try your best to fight. Whisper a message. The rest are for you.